This week, the week in between Christmas and New Year's Eve, can be one of the most stressful. And it's easy in times like this to say, I don't have time for myself, I'll do it later. With us, Weis from Breathe Yoga, here to remind us that now, right now, is when you should be focusing on yourself, taking time to step back from time to time. And we're here to talk about not yoga necessarily, but something called, well, meditation.
Meditation, yeah. Well, yoga, actually the physical practice of yoga that we are now familiar with, like downward dog and warrior one, all like the physical postures, actually came to be to assist with meditation. Yoga really started as meditation, and then the stretches were introduced as a way to help people sit longer. So that's actually how the physical practice of yoga came to be.
Interesting.
But it started with meditation.
Okay. Yeah. And that means what? So we're quieting what? The noise in our head, the self-chatter, the self-talk. I mean, what are the principles of meditation?
That's exactly it. And I think that meditation can be so intimidating for people because they think there's no way I can sit still and be quiet. Like, I've got too much going on. I've got too many things to think about. And so one of the most important things I think to know about meditation is that it doesn't have to be the perfect time or the perfect setting. So what you said in the, just leading up to this was that this is the busiest time of year usually for people. And so you could think, well, I don't have this is not the time to start meditation. And actually it is. This is the perfect time.
Well, and we're going to do it right now. We're going to at least show you how, at least the physical poses of meditation work, because you're saying you need to sit.
So for meditation, you need to sit. So you can't stand and do it. I mean, you could, I guess. You could do it driving in your car or standing in line at Wegmans, but really, like, for meditation, you want to find a comfortable way to sit. And so for people, you usually want to sit elevated on something because it creates more space for your knees and for your hips. So I'm going to show you one example. I'm going to do one example.
Sounds good.
So this is just a regular meditation cushion. If you're home, you could use the cushion of your couch. You could use a pillow, anything. I have these two blocks, which again, you could use anything you had in your house. You're going to sit with your legs crossed, and because you're sitting on the meditation cushion, your hips are elevated. So it creates a little bit of space here in your hip joints. And then you can just rest your hands wherever they're comfortable, like that is perfect. This is another option, is to sit with something underneath you, but your shins on the floor and your knees bent. Again, there's a space in between for the hip joints, so they're not it's not such a deep angle if you were sitting on the floor. And then if this doesn't seem comfortable to you, you could always sit in a chair. If you feel like your low back is going to get tired or you don't want to sit.
It feels good.
It feels pretty good right now, right?
Yeah.
You could always lean against a wall. Like you could sit up against a wall and meditate. And I think the best way to start meditation is to take your phone alarm and set it for like 3 minutes. Don't sit here for 20 minutes. Set it for 3 minutes. Close your eyes and just let yourself sit. And then when your alarm goes off, you're done.
Back to reality.
Back to reality.
3 minutes, people.
3 minutes. And then maybe tomorrow or next week's like 4 minutes. I think when people think that they have to sit quietly for 20 minutes, nobody can do that. Nobody has time for that. So sit for 3 minutes, sit in a place that's comfortable. And if you find that, a meditation teacher one time told me that, if your mind is constantly thinking, the idea with meditation is to still your mind and be quiet.
That's the hardest thing, though, Carly.
And the advice I got from him, which I thought was great, is that we're such busy people, we don't even have time to think. So if you sit to meditate and you find yourself thinking, that at least will be the time that you're not thinking right before you go to bed, and that's why you can't sleep. So like, give yourself the time to think, and then one day you'll have like a moment where your mind is still, and that's meditation.
Is that the Zen?
That's the Zen, yeah.
So in the meantime, people, sit in your pose, give yourself 3 minutes, set the iPhone or whatever alarm, and just
sit quietly.
Just sit quietly and see what happens. You might get that moment.
You might get that moment.
Where there's no thought. You're just sitting there.
And then that's why people keep meditating, is they want to have that moment again, and it takes time. Again, we're busy people. So.
Carly, we always love having you in.
Thank you for having me.
I'm just going to sit here quietly during the commercial break, and we'll see you in the new year.
Yes, definitely.
Carly Weis, Breathe Yoga.